JV Cycles here with another weekend video on November the 18th. So here I have the S&P 3.5 year cycle in green, and as we see we are halfway into this bullish phase of this 3.5 year cycle, so a bull market top should be at least 1 year away. And in red I have the wavelet corresponding to this cycle, and it tells me the same story. I have a projection from this wavelet low going down here. So the projection is this blue line, and it suggests an uptrend for another year or so. Here the projection goes flat, meaning that, well, it's based on the average on all these analogs, and from here on they start to diverge. Some continue up, some go down. So also here, well, current situation here in red, we are at this point. Also I have the two previous bull markets, 2019 and 2016 they started. We see, if you look at the 2015 case, it did have quite a long consolidation here. I think that was the Trump election low. And if you look at the green one, we had the COVID crash in this period, and right now we had a 3-month correction around the same period as these other corrections. So there could be a bright future for bulls the coming year. Looking at some offsets, weekly data, S&P. This is the 21-month offset, a band of offsets. And here my scenario was we would meet resistance at these offsets. We had been staying below for a while, actually triggering a downside target deep down here, but it never materialized. Instead we have been clinging on to this band of offsets, and I thought here we would meet resistance, and then we would have a breakout, and looks like we are having this breakout. Could still consolidate here for a while before we really break out. That's been my scenario. Looking at monthly data for the S&P. Here is my 3.5 year wavelet in the monthly data, and we have the same picture here. We are having a projection for a bull market, and the projection, well, actually I have two of them here in blue and purple, and we are at this point. However, this black projection is not quite fixed yet. It may shift a little bit to the right or left, but if you look at the previous one in yellow, that one is quite fixed, and we see we topped around where these projections topped out. So we had a bull market top and the bear market low around where this projection suggested a low. I had this other scenario with a later low if we were to continue and have a long prolonged bear market, but that didn't happen. And we see also in pink here we have the previous bull market. So the previous bear market low was not that far away from the yellow one, and here we had the COVID crash, an unusual late crash, and we see the 3-month correction we just had was at the exact same point as the COVID crash. So in my opinion, the COVID crash was never meant to be like that. It was an anomaly. So it should have been a higher low, like now in yellow. Anyway, here the projection goes up. Going back to the current projection, we see here this 3-month correction is not quite in sync with the COVID crash in yellow here, but yeah, here we have the Trump. Excuse me, my spreadsheet is kind of auto-saving or something. There. Well, here we have the Trump election low, the COVID low, and the current low, also pretty much clustered at the same place, and we have a projection for continued bull market. So yeah, can't say for sure that we are ready to break out to the upside. Could still be the need for some more sideways action, a higher low before we get the breakout. So looking at some more short-term projections. So here I have the VIX cycle of about 10 weeks and the corresponding S&P cycle. So I have the cycle or oscillation lows here marked with arrows, and right now we see in red the VIX wavelet is starting to top out. It's too early to say it has topped out, but it is suggesting the top is close. And what do I get from that? Well, I get this. This is the projection if we actually are at the wavelet top right now. Then we have a projection for a market top. It starts to top here very early or very late November. Actually, this is the favorable top around December the 7th. And then we should look for a B-C pullback, and if in a very bullish case it will be a sideways consolidation, kind of a double top or a range. And we see right now the projection should suggest a low around New Year, but the timing here may shift. The wavelet is not fixed yet, and just looking from a pattern recognition perspective, I could suspect that this red line will shift a bit to the left. Maybe we have more to go on here, but this is an average, a typical behavior from this wavelet. But there are cases where we turn down earlier, and there are others where we top out later. So this is, just about probabilities. This is the most probable scenario, and the timing here is not fixed yet. Looking at the projection from the low, I get a similar picture. However, these projections from the low are much less consistent. They have a much more larger distribution of well, you have less certainty about saying where the top will be. But when you are looking at the top and the market pullback, there's a much more clustering of cases. But anyway, this is telling about the same story. Look for a low, early December sometime, and look for a low around New Year. So that's the projection from the 10-week cycle or 10-week oscillation. It still may shift a little bit, but right now the most probable top around early December and a low around New Year. I would prefer to see a low mid-December and a New Year rally, and that's possible in this projection, but we'll see.